Welcome back, everybody. Today we're here to talk about The Walking Dead Season 10 Episode 2 and look at some photos from the episode. In preview of the episode, AMC dropped some images, so in this video we're going to go through them and break it down and talk about what we can expect in this week's episode. So with that being said, let's get into it. Alright, so we know this week is going to be a flashback episode. We're going to learn about Alpha and Beta, especially Beta. We're going to learn a lot about his backstory, which is awesome. Last year, we had that episode in Season 9 where we learned a lot about Alpha's backstory. We are going to get some Alpha and Lydia flashbacks also, as we saw in the opening minutes and stuff like that. But I'm excited to learn a lot about Beta. They don't really do this in the comics, so they're really exploring the Whispers more, and I'm excited for it. But let's start off and talk about the photos, starting off with the flashbacks. So here's the first one. We have Alpha and Beta here, and again, this is like part of the opening minutes. I made a video if you want to go check it out, but what's going on here is this is like a flashback scene. We have young Lydia here, and they're trying to escape some walkers. The next photo is one of Alpha and Lydia running, because if you watch the sneak peek, a lot of the doors are like locked. They're having trouble getting in. The walkers are getting very close, but they do actually succeed in getting inside, and they're inside of this building, and we have a shot of them right here, and you can see Lydia's hiding from her or like behind her mom because she sees somebody down the hall. And we have this image of somebody covered in a mask who I'm assuming is Beta. Here's another shot of Alpha and Lydia. Again, Lydia's hiding behind Alpha because obviously she's scared. Here's a shot of Lydia like really covered in blood, which is interesting to me. It looks like she's more covered in blood in this one than the previous images. And then here's a shot of Alpha, who's covered in blood also. And she's holding out her knife. And this is an interesting shot here. We don't see Lydia in the photo anymore. We just have Alpha and Beta here. In that other image, Lydia was by herself. So by looking at these images, I'm kind of thinking that, what if we get an Alpha and a Beta fight? How awesome would that be? And I think a fight will be interesting. It would also show us a lot about the characters. And if they do get in a fight, I'm going to go ahead and assume that Alpha's going to win, which is also going to be really interesting to see because Beta's like a real big guy, and I'm sure he knows how to fight, which would only mean that Alpha is just like, a much better fighter, which says a lot. I love that. But anyways, I think that could be the case because, Beta's like really tall. He's like 7 foot, he can be on his own, but for some reason, he is like super loyal to Alpha, and like we saw the sneak peeks and the preview for next week episode. There's also like a scene of him like shaving Alpha, like shaving her head, and this is interesting to me to see if maybe Alpha did something to show her dominance over Beta. And we know how the Whispers roll, like they're pretty much like a horde of walker, or like they would look at themselves as animals, right? So that's why there's like an Alpha and a Beta, and now there's a Gamma. So there's like classes within the community. And I think it'll be really interesting if, Alpha and Beta ended up fighting for those titles and Alpha won. So, anyways, I'm just like really excited to see like an Alpha and a Beta fight. That would be pretty awesome. And also in the preview for next week's episode, we know Gamma is going to be causing Beta some issues because Beta even like was talking to Alpha and said something. I think he said something along the lines of like, she unsettles the herd. So he doesn't like Gamma. And if, Alpha sides with Gamma over Beta, and we can see like the downfall of Beta within the Whispers, I think putting this scene in this episode, showing them fight to show who's more dominant, would be a good time to put that in there just for us to get a little bit of backstory that Alpha and Beta aren't the best of friends. Obviously they had to earn their positions. And then we have this image here, another one of Beta, a close-up, and then we have one more of Alpha. And then those are the flashback images, and then we have some more images here. Here's Beta, and this is obviously like present day stuff, and based on all the images of Alpha and Beta, I think this episode is going to be exploring them a lot, which is exciting, honestly. Here's a shot of Alpha. We haven't seen her with her mask yet this season, so that's awesome. Her mask is super creepy, and then we have one of her without her mask. And then this next one is her. Look at her face. Like, she's obviously very pissed off. So that's interesting to me. I think because they're making their way back, I think, to where the main communities are, because we saw at the end of episode 1 that she was close to Carol. Like, they were back in that same location. So I do think they're making their way back, and they're probably gonna have problems on the way back. Maybe like problems within each other, and then we're also gonna get the flashback bits, which I think could sort of be the backbone to that and kind of show us that these whispers have been having issues for a while. All I gotta say is that Alpha is so scary. I mean, look at this face. Like, imagine seeing Alpha or being a whisperer and seeing Alpha look at you like that. How terrifying that would be. I mean, I'm actually genuinely curious to see like what's going on here. Unless if she's unless she's looking at, you know, just somebody, or like maybe she got suspicious of something in the woods or something. If she's looking at a whisper like that, I feel bad for that whisper. I mean, that's honestly worse than when Negan whistles and has the bat on his shoulder. That's how scary that is. But anyways, the next image we have Beta from afar. He's also looking. It looks like he's looking at something. So we'll see exactly what's going on here. And then we have a shot of Gamma, as we know is going to be the new main whisperer. And I definitely am interested to see, you know, what her role is going to be like and what she's going to do, because I know it's only been trailers and stuff, but she seems like, even in the trailers, you know, she seems very quiet. So we'll see like if she's just this person, because she wasn't a main character last year, and obviously her being I mean, I don't think it was like a random person who joins the Whispers. She probably was in the Whispers last year. We just didn't see her or something like that. But I am interested to see how she worked her way up to be a Gamma, because there was no Gamma. It was only Alpha and Beta. So really excited to see what's going on with her. If she's going to overthrow Beta and become Beta. If maybe that's why Beta's worried. But definitely excited for this character. Next, we have this image where the Whisperers are in this field. They're probably making their way back, you know, to where the main communities are. You know, just because in one of the sneak peeks, Beta kind of suggested that we should go back in case, you know, they start not being scared anymore. And we saw episode 1, the characters are still pretty scared of the Whispers, and they're not even close to them. But obviously, they're gonna make their way back. But something else I did notice is like, I love how the main Whispers are so distinct from the other ones. Like in this, obviously Beta is super distinct because he's ginormous. You can see him from a mile away. But looking at this image, you can tell which one is Gamma, because it looks like Gamma is going to be wearing like this blue plaid shirt, which is going to be something that we can notice. It's going to be her, obviously a main character. And then obviously Alpha has the black clothing. So I just love how the main Whispers are always distinct, because these other Whispers, like, look what they're wearing. They're just wearing like gray and black and bluish, and, you know, just colors that everybody else wears. So I love how the main characters are wearing very distinct colors. Next, we have this shot of Beta, who looks to be surrounded by walkers. I don't know why he's alone, but just a minute ago I was talking about how in the sneak peek we got for this episode, Alpha said that they're collecting walkers and trying to make their herd bigger. And it'll be interesting to see if she made Beta go do it, because, or at least like made Beta go, and, you know, probably with some other Whispers. But Beta was sort of suggesting that we go back to the main area where the Alexandrians are, and Alpha kind of like wasn't worried about that, but rather getting their numbers up. So that's interesting. Also, again, Alpha showing her dominance, which I think will be a big part in this episode and in this season as a whole. Next, we got this image of Alpha and Beta here. And then we have a shot of Alpha, Gamma, and some walkers, some Whispers in the mix. And I love how there's actual walkers in the mix, which is awesome, because sometimes, I mean, I want to see like them. It would be interesting to see if, like, because there hasn't really been any close calls with the Whisperers and the walkers. I guess it kind of shows that the Whisperers are a real deal. But sometimes when we have those scenes of the Whisperers and walkers, you know, walking together, it's very tense. It really is. And I think the show will actually benefit if they show a Whisper going down. Maybe something happened with the mask. Maybe the mask dried off or something. But I do think if they show that, it would definitely make the stakes a lot higher for us to actually pay attention to these scenes, and also make the scenes more exciting. Because even there hasn't been any scenes like that, I'm still very tense when I see the walkers and Whispers, you know, walking together, because I feel like any second now a walker will turn and like bite a Whisperer. And then we have this image of a Whisperer, and then lastly one more of Alpha. So those were the images we got for episode 1002. Very excited for the episode. I don't know if this whole episode is going to be with the Whisperers, or we're going to go back to, you know, what other characters are doing. But hey, I'm still interested if it's just the Whisperers, because I think the Whisperers are interesting enough to have an episode. You know, they can stand an episode on their own. You know, they're able to do that because that's how cool they are. But yeah, those are the images we got for episode 1002. let me know in the comments down below your thoughts and opinions, especially about those flashback scenes. Let me know what you think about them. What do you think Alpha and Beta are gonna fight? Or what are you most excited for? What do you think Beta's backstory is? Let me know in the comments down below. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like rating. Again, I am going to wrap it up there. Thank you guys for watching. For more Walking Dead videos, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.